straightcharacters.fandom.com/wiki/Gloria in parentheses Madagascar. Gloria is a straight character of Madagascar. Like everything hippo in the franchise, Gloria is fat, her skin is gray, but in the belly, she is a little lighter than the rest of her body.
God fucking damn it.
And also, if you scroll down, obviously has a bunch of professional wrestlers.
Wait, what?
This is the fandom made by a man with Down syndrome, Aleks. He loves Madagascar, Miraculous Ladybug, and wrestling.
Who the fuck opens a podcast like this? I just sat down. Okay.
You did. You had 500 cigarettes and sat down. Listen, we're cramming in all of the dated memes. So that if we listen to this episode, I don't know, 6 months from now, all of this shit won't be funny anymore. Galaxy gas, that shit's old now. That's like an old can of Galaxy gas. It's just prone to randomly fucking explode.
Okay. So I'd say so 15 times that copy pasta mentioned. All right, so
From the top.
Hey, Tad.
Yes, Aleks?
Let me tell you about I Wani Hug That Gator, the visual novel that changed my life.
Now, did it change your life for the better or for the worse?
I think it's actually for the better for once. I think finally something went a little right.
Aleks finally gets a W.
If you're coming off the last episode, finally, a W. So, I was actually really thinking about how I want to present this to you, because I didn't want to just do like a plot summary to you, because one, a lot of people do that in like these fucking kind of like reviews and shit, and it's kind of like whatever. Because if you're here to like listen to someone's opinion on it, you probably already are aware of it, and if you're not, you're kind of just spoiling the entire thing for you. So I'm gonna talk about it and basically kind of give you like a really quick rundown of what the game's about, and then just kind of like focus on like key things, kind of like what you do with Disco.
Where I chose a few characters that were important to me, and then I was like, all right, Aleks, which ones are you interested in? And kind of took the conversation from there.
Yeah. And this game is, it's no Disco, so it's a little shorter, but I don't want to rob the experience of like, because it's a fucking novel. You read it, right? I don't want to do that whole thing for you. But
When did this game come out?
this came out this year. It just came out in like February.
Okay.
This is new, yeah. This game was made by the guys who made Snoot Game, which was a parody of Goodbye Volcano High. Because when Goodbye Volcano High was announced, people on 4chan were like, dude, this is so fucking gay. What if we made our own visual novel with furries, with blackjack and hookers? So they took all of the characters, changed their names for like one letter or so to, for it's a parody, added some fucking funny bullshit, and then made their own visual novel. And the visual novel that they made actually came out before Goodball Volcano High, because Goodball Volcano High ran into fucking like development hell or some shit. It came out like a year later.
What kind of development hell does it have? It's a visual novel. You can make that shit on Newgrounds.
I don't know, man. I guess Meat and Fuck Kingdom's too hard for people.
It was Sony, wasn't it? I think Sony, it was like it was like one of the last E3s. They showed that off on like the main stage.
God, what a fucking shit show that was, dude. Who is this for? Listen, we're talking about Wani, not about fucking Goodball Volcano High, the inferior Snoot Game, alright? Look, let's just get into it. So, after Snoot Game was actually a very successful thing, especially in like Spanish-speaking countries for some goddamn reason, they were like, hey, making Goodball Volcano High with blackjack and hookers went well. What if we did it again, but with like our own characters so we could actually make money off of it? And so they made this game, which... So you're talking about development hell. This actually ran into development hell for a couple of years too, fucking apparently. Because I guess just writing a visual novel can be really hard sometimes. And when you get a bunch of people on 4chan together, they start like bitching and arguing about like, allegedly, some people were complaining about with their furry OCs not being like cool enough in the visual novel, namely Mia, the bully character. That shit I've heard through the grapevine. I tried digging for that, and I couldn't find a single goddamn source to back that up, but there's a billion people who say that that's what happened with Mia's creator.
So it sounds like this is similar to that BroQuest stuff.
Yeah, but this got finished. This was also way less ambitious. And BroQuest was like, what if you made an RPG with like 50 playable fucking characters of like every like character archetype ever made, question mark? It was a fucking dumb idea. Anyway, so, Wani. Wani's about you playing a guy named Inko G Nito, who dresses like Sans from Undertale. Get it? His name's
Oh.
Incognito. Because it's a fortune game. They're always going to be a little funny. They're always going to be a little funny, no matter what.
See, I had seen the main character. I thought he was supposed to look like the. So I wasn't sure. All I know about this game is that there is Susie Deltarune, but she's green and in a wheelchair.
Okay, sure.
And like it's been in development for a while. I knew that it was around for a long time, so I kind of just assumed that this was like a really short VN, like 2 hours. But it sounds like it's significantly longer than that.
Oh yeah, it has 4 endings, and even if you were to do like a lot of VNs allow you to skip dialogue you previously read until you hit like a new one. Like a lot of them do that because like every visual novel has like 5 fucking endings, right? Mm-hmm. So even when I did that to get every ending, that still took me like over 20 hours, which is pretty good for a VN. That's pretty sizable. They're usually around like 20-hour mark.
That's like a Phoenix Wright game.
Yeah, pretty much. So. What the game's about is you play as Inko, and you are a human who's going to a dinosaur school. It's still in like the same like parody universe of Gumball Volcano High, just in like their own like city, so they can again, so it's not illegal to do like copyright shit. And your parents are like these architect kind of people. They work in construction. They work suspiciously in construction, like my parents did, and so they move around a lot, suspiciously like my parents did. And so for now, you're living here. You gotta go to your last year of high school, and Inko. He's got a lot of issues. Namely, he doesn't have any friends because he's in this whole new environment. So his goal, he wants to come in here, even if he's like a kind of a fish out of water, make some friends, become popular, and just like be a normal fucking person for once in his goddamn life. Then he runs into, not Olivia, he runs into a couple characters, namely Ben, who's like this nerdy kind of guy with big glasses, who's into photography. Then he also meets Damien, who's like this kind of like sportsy guy who becomes like his bro. And Damien is like bros with Olivia, and that's how you get introduced to Olivia. And once you meet her, everything kind of starts to unfold from there. Because Olivia is really interesting because she's like very standoffish and very quiet and doesn't really like you at all because you're like a weird fucking human. And you have to kind of get to her and talk to her. Not because you want to, but it's actually because Damien kind of pushes you to, because Damien is, how do I explain this? Olivia's godparents, because, if you were to ever, like, your parents ever die, you have a godparent, it's like a backup, essentially, that's what that is in, like, a family. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know what that is, I wouldn't have anything like that, my family were very talkative with each other, but Olivia's dad is, like, a military guy, so he's not around a lot, and she can't take care of herself because she's in a fucking wheelchair. So he has them stay with the Payne family. They're these, I forget what kind of dinosaurs they are. It's the frilled, like, neck dinosaur, and then that, like, amphibious dinosaur. It's a fucking mixed race couple. And so she lives at their house. So Damien, he's like her brother, basically. And so he really wants her to get, like, open and talk to more people than just him. Because, like, she doesn't have any friends either. She's just this weird, quiet, like, spiteful little bitch. So he's trying to push you to become friends with Olivia because, like, you're his buddy now, and he wants you to, like, be nice with her because you're also, like, this kind of, like, this weird loser, so he thinks that you'd be good together just to be, like, buddies, which is kind of mean, but he's right. And then your art teacher, Mr. Iadakin, also, he really likes Olivia because she's, like, a really good artist. She's a painter, to be specific. And so he wants her to just stop being a weird, closed-off loser as well. You, again, he sees, like, you as this new kind of guy to, like, she can't become friends with these other people she's known for this, like, her whole, like, high school life, right? It'd be weird to just suddenly, like, start talking to a random person, like, say, Liz, who's the big long-necked dinosaur that I showed a screenshot of earlier to you. It'd be weird for her to just suddenly start talking to her. But you're new, perfect opportunity for her to open up, right? And so, as they push you together, the game's goal is not to fuck the fucking Gator. This is actually a wholesome Christian VN. There is no sex in it. It is to befriend her and do 2 things. 1, build up Olivia's kind of confidence in herself and her passion for art. And 2, that's more of a hidden thing. I don't want to call it hidden, but it's a little more complicated. Because it's easy to just gas up Olivia and, like, be there for her, right? But what's hard is being there for yourself. What do I mean by that? Inko has a lot of problems. He has a real lack of self-worth. And it's really, it's interesting, because, like, you'd think he's just going to be, because he literally is, like, an anonymous kind of, like, blank-faced dude. You think he's not going to have much of a character, but he does. He has no real self-worth, and he has no real connections. And as you progress through the game, you have to make dialogue choices not just for Olivia, but for Inko as well. It's actually very easy for a lot of players to end up with the second ending because the second ending is effectively like a bad ending where you build up Olivia, but you never build up Inko. And I think it's really, really interesting that they do it like that.
So my base assumption on visual novels is that they usually, like, you had a complete blank slate with your character and you would choose all of your options. How common is it for the player character to be like, hey, you already have, like, base level relationships with other characters and interests and hobbies and stuff, and then the player can obviously choose to go with it, go against it, or whatever?
That really depends on what kind of visual novel you're talking about, because like I've played a handful. I'm not a visual novel master, but I played more than you. And so
let me think of all the visual novels I've played. So Phoenix Wright, that counts.
Yeah,
I played a lot of
is,
Phoenix Wright, a lot of Professor Layton. I played Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, where they fucking kill Maya. I did play. Okay, well, I played the Phoenix Wright trial where you had to defend Hitler.
Let's see. All these visual novels Ted has played. Phoenix Wright.
It's a pretty shallow pool.
Okay, so I played a handful. Outside of this, I've also played a bunch of
counts. Maybe.
I mean, there's a Homestuck VN, right?
Yeah. There's Friend Quest or something. It's fucking lame.
Well,
It's gay.
Not counting games that just have VN story cutscenes, because a lot of indie games do that to save money. Actual full-on VNs. I played a handful. I played this, obviously. I played a lot of Phoenix Wright games. I played one you might have not have heard of, but some weeaboo in the audience would. It was Udawari Wumono. I think I pronounced that right. It's like a weird, like, post-apocalypse feudal Japan setting. I don't even remember how the fuck I found that game.
I remember that one because you got mad at me because I was dismissing it as that dumb weeb game.
Because it was actually pretty damn solid, bro. Anyway,
yeah, that was actually when I realized, other people don't instantly know what I'm thinking, because I was always calling it that dumb weeb game. It's like an offhand thing. Like, I didn't actually think it was, like, useless. But you didn't know that. You only knew what I was saying to you, and I was like, oh, that's right. Other people exist.
Anyway, it's pretty solid. I'm just saying. But I played a really bad one. I played a really old one called Shuffle at the recommendation of a friend. Man, that game fucking sucks, dude. Holy fuck.
What was Shuffle about?
Alright, immediately Googling images. Google image Shuffle VN. Shuffle exclamation point. Fuck, I gotta get worst screen. Hold on, look at the worst screenshot. Okay, this one looks pretty bad. So, in case it didn't already look like the most generic thing ever, but here's a picture of it. So, if you already can't tell, this game sucks. So, Shuffle is like this is like, if you were to say, like, what is a visual novel? What is a stupid dweeb visual novel? That. Literally, it is the most useless shit ever. I don't remember a single goddamn thing about that other than the initial plot is, alright, to briefly talk about Shuffle.
I want to shuffle that gator.
Hell opened, a portal to hell opened up around Tokyo, and demons themselves
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you. So when you sent me this, I'm like, oh, this is about, like, you go to, like, anime school and there's a bunch of girls and you gotta shuffle, you gotta learn to dance with them on the stage. And I did not expect Satan to be involved. Please continue.
Okay, so Tad, see that guy with the pointy ears? That's Satan.
There's two guys with pointy ears. I'm gonna guess it's the one with big boobs.
No, it's the guy who looks like Steve Jobs. That's Satan.
Okay, now let's see. That tracks.
The plot is you go to a fucking anime high school, and you gotta, like, befriend people and go on, like, dates with them and shit. And also some of them are just, like, from hell.
Dude, look at that fucking early 2000s, late 90s anime side mouth. Holy shit.
This is a fucking vintage piece, dude. I don't remember a single thing about this game except for 1, 2, 3 bits. I immediately remember 3 bits. One. Early in the game, walk outside of your house, look in the sky, go, what a beautiful cloudless day. There are 4 clouds in the sky. 2. I remember that there's a little girl character that I think you can romance. I hope not. And if you talk about her to your buddy, he calls you in English a pedophile, and I thought it was really funny. Then 3, the first thing that happens. One of the first things. So that blue-haired bitch in the back, that's Satan's daughter. So Satan's opening dialogue is him putting his hand on your shoulder and saying, "Hey, bro, you should get with my daughter. She has fat titties." And those are the 3 things I remember about that game. That one's a bad one. I've also played less bad ones.
What is Satan's daughter eating? It looks like black pasta.
It's some fucking Japanese fucking food that none of us are gonna fucking pronounce correctly.
You know what? Actually, it might be squid ink spaghetti. Or
Yeah, I think-
okay, that's what it's called in Tomodachi. That's what I was gonna do in the other Noise Boys. I had all my Tomodachi Life tea. This is about the Gator.
Yeah,
This is not about you trying to set up Brinkley on a date with Jade Homestuck. Who just, by the way, Alex, hot tea, she just broke up with fucking Stalin.
You put Stalin in there.
I didn't do anything. The game. Anyway, back to the Gator.
So anyway, to answer your question after that tangent about Shuffle, the game where you fuck Satan's daughter, yes, most visual novels will actually have a character of some kind, but it'll usually be relatively broad, where they'll have like one or two defining things about them, and even then, Inko only has a couple of things, because you had to kind of... So, you have to kind of mold Inko, right? Because if you were to let Inko just do his own thing, he becomes the worst version of himself, and it's fucking so sad to see. And the reason this game really changed my life, because I don't want to do a plot summary. The reason this game really like got to me is around early on in the story. Because anyway, initially I didn't even really like get into it. Just like Disco, I played for a few hours, thought it was cute, wasn't really in the mood to read, right? But once I got sick, I was really in the mood to play video games. Because I was just really fucking sick from fucking COVID. So I'm like, I'm actually in the mood to read for once, so I read this, quickly recapped myself on what I read before, and suddenly I guess on the second time over, I just kind of liked it a little more. But there was a line that Olivia said that really, like, hooked me into it. Because I'm an artist, albeit a mediocre one. And when she said... For now,
mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, I'm better than when I started
out. As a
non-artist,
non-traditional artist person, I would say you're slightly above mediocre, Alex.
Thanks. Well, anyway, the thing that she said was early on. I sent you this line too, so I know you've already seen it, but it is when you were praising her for a painting she did in freshman year that's hung up outside the principal's office. It's like this big city landscape painting. You're like, hey, that actually looks really good, Olivia. You're a pretty good artist. And she's like, I mean, it's not like I really did anything. I just kind of followed a YouTube tutorial, and that was a little line. But I've said that myself when I was first learning art about a long time ago. Like, whenever someone would praise me, I would always put down my own art initially. And so when she said that line, I was like, oh, this was actually written by an artist, wasn't it? Because that's a little thing. That's like a little line that only like an artist would actually say, right? Because if you were trying to write an artist, you wouldn't have written that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I had a similar moment in Disco. I didn't bring this up in the episode, I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't know.
Harry started talking to these spiders, right?
And he sold out Revachol. No, it was I was talking to the cafeteria manager, and if you ask him, I think you had to pass an empathy check or something like that to get him to, like, you know, calm down because you were being a super dickhead. And he says, like, yeah, I heard you were shouting something last night. And then I asked what it was, and it says, you were shouting, I don't want to be this animal anymore. And I was like, ooh, that's a line that's hitting me a little too close to home. Because I have tendencies and things that I do that I will struggle to get past. Like, I have a really fucking hard time with simple shit like delayed gratification. To the point where, like, I fucking... okay, this is one for the RuneScapies. In RuneScape, when you pickpocket something, it gives you a little coin pouch, and then you can open it. And they stack up to 84. Do you know when I open my coin pouches, Alex? 1. I cannot wait. It is like a constant problem in my life. And that was something that I'm like, oh, shit. Like, that's a line that I've thought to myself. And I was like, all right, let me see what you're doing, Harry. You wonderful mess.
So that's interesting, actually. I'm surprised to hear that from you, because you play RuneScape, which I always assumed was the delayed, like, number go up game, where you take, like, 5 years to get your fucking 98 to 99.
RuneScape is an unfortunate habit of mine. I think I'm a little more healthy now. Back in, let's just say, about 10 months ago, when a certain thing happened, I did nothing but play RuneScape and League of Legends for, like, 4 months straight.
Living the dream. But anyway, so as you back to the Gator, as you hang out with her, it goes relatively well. You're just buddies hanging out at the lunch table with Damien, her, and Liz. The four of you are like the gang, right? Damien being
will
the
say
buddy
this.
that's kind of hanging you. What's up?
I like the Brontosaurus girl's design. I think it's really fun that they made her like curl her neck around to sit in the car and stuff. That's fun character design. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and her little bit is that her neck is way too long, so it's always a little off screen. So I show you this little GIF. There's a little bit in game. She's always like that, where her head sprite is different from her neck sprite, and it's always just moving around independently. They're always doing little visual gags like that. So like at the lunch table, she's sitting at the lunch table with the three of you, and her neck is way high up, and she's eating leaves on top of the place for the vegan dinosaurs, for the herbivore dinosaurs. Because there's a minor world building, because like they're dinosaurs, they're lizard things, right? And so like they'll have accommodations for brontosauruses and shit with like high-rise areas for them to hang out in or eat stuff from and stuff, right? Little things like that. Or the fact that Olivia and Damien are carnivores, that like their diet comes up because you go to hang out at their house and you're like, hey man, thanks for inviting me to the barbecue. I got you guys a nice salad. And Damien's like, hey man, thanks. You didn't have to. No, you really didn't have to. And he just like tosses it aside. Or when you're grilling with his dad, who I thought was Hank Hill. Apparently he's based off the dad from Jurassic Park, and I'm a fake fucking fan. But he's like, hey man, we got these nice, how do you like your meat? He's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, meat's so fucking expensive nowadays, man. It's hard for us carnivores to get by sometimes. And then Inko goes, I mean, why don't you try some of that synthetic meat? It's cheaper, right? And everyone fucking looks at you. the music...
Alex, does it recreate that one meme of all the girls at the party
No,
looking
they didn't.
right at the camera?
Unfortunately, they didn't do that, but Damien, his mom, and his dad look at you, the music stops, it says, even the grill stopped searing the meat to judge you. And then it gets back to normal. It's really, like, they play with the fact that they are literally, like, different than you, right? It's just cute. So, as you're hanging out with the gang, everything's going pretty well. Inko himself is in the school. It's a high school. It's really part of its arts. And Inko himself is a photographer, like the aforementioned Ben. He's really into like the artsy kind of photography, right? Not just taking pictures, like taking like the nice shot with the right DSL camera and shit like that, right? He's like into the professional shit. And so eventually, what happens early on is an art competition. Olivia was in that art competition back in freshman year. That was her big painting. She won back then, right? And so she can't enter again. But you and Liz and... Well, Damien doesn't enter because he doesn't really give a shit. Damien just kind of fucks off doing sports stuff. But you enter with your photography, and you're like, fuck yeah, dude, this is going to be sweet. And when you enter it, something weird happens. You start getting really popular at school. And everyone's like, dude, Inko, that was the coolest fucking submission ever. Bro, that looks so fucking beautiful, man. You're pretty fucking poggers. And he's like, yeah, he's like adjusting his nice fine jacket, going like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking cool, yeah. I didn't think people here were gonna respect photography, but I guess Ben was wrong. Guess I'm pretty cool here. Maybe I am fitting in for once. And when the painting is finally, or when the picture's finally revealed, spoilers, it's not a photography thing at all. It's a painting. Olivia swapped you out. She swapped your picture out because she knew what your password is because you got your account from Liz, and Liz just gave you a default login. So Olivia just fucking figured it out instantly. So she hacked into your account, uploaded her own artwork instead, and submitted it. And then you didn't win yet, but you were in the semifinals, and you're like, oh fuck, what the fuck? What? No, what? Because you start piecing it together. Only one person could have possibly done that. It would either have been Liz or Olivia. But Liz doesn't paint, she does digital art. There's only one painter you know who would have done something like that. So you immediately go to confront Olivia. And this is a sad scene where she's like crying to you in the rain of like how she tried to fuck you over. Because they found out that wasn't your art. You get labeled as you get kicked out of the competition and get labeled as a fraud. And this is like a fancy art school, right? So having that label on you would really hurt his like photography and shit in the future. Because he wants to be like a professional, like doing like wedding photos and shit, right? He wants to make it a job. So you confront her in the rain about what she did, and this is actually an important decision for both the characters. You see, you can just forgive her and hug it out and become friends again. That's all well and good. But that isn't what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to actually ask her why, right? That makes sense. Of course you're going to ask her why. And she explains, and to spoil this, because this is actually very important for a character, I need to explain this to you. You see, that competition she won in freshman year has always bugged her in the back of her mind. Because when she did that, Ben was her friend. Ben, being the pseudo-council president now, was working in the school newspaper back then. So when she submitted it at Ben's request, saying like, Bill, you're a cool artist, you gotta do this, it's gonna be so good for you. She does it, and then Ben writes a story in the newspaper saying how like this poor, sad, crippled alligator girl just wants to be an artist. Look at her beautiful piece of art. And she won easily. But you immediately know where this is going. It always begged in the back of her mind, did I win because I was good, or did I win because people just pitied me? And she's always struggled feeling with this imposter syndrome that she never felt like a real artist. So the reason she acted into your account and did that, she wanted to see that without her name attached to it, is her art good on its own? And she feels terrible about this because when the reason she did this to you is because the way you act, and the reason I was emphasizing how he's kind of like he lacks self-worth.
It sounds like you were starting to do like in Spider-Man 3 when he gets the black suit. And he's like, he's walking around town, you're popping finger guns at the at the brontosauruses and shit.
Yeah, and so
I can't remember any other dinosaurs. Is there a Professor like T-Rex?
There's actually not a T-Rex in this game. Funny enough, there's
a
A
dinosaur.
couple...
What did they not have a 10-year-old on staff for this dinosaur
what
game?
Do you do with their
the
little
fuck?
arms, Ted?
They all got little arms. They're dinosaurs. They got feet. They only have feet, Alex.
No. So anyway,
you know what? You've convinced me. I apologize. Here, I'll PayPal you $50.
No, but the point is that imposter syndrome was nagging in the back of her mind, and it made her not associate with Ben anymore because she always assumed Ben was just kind of using her for clout, right? He's like, look at me, I'm the guy who's like helping out this poor crippled gator girl. Aren't I such a kind and caring person?
Now I got a quick question.
What's up?
So is this supposed to be a high school?
It's a high school.
Or is this supposed to be a college?
It's a high school. You are in senior year of a high school.
Okay, senior year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's always bugged her. And when you confront her with this, you can then either forgive her or you can tell her no. You can tell her that you should take responsibility for your own damn actions and you should turn yourself in. And she doesn't like to hear that, but it is actually the correct thing to do. You see, one of the things that bugs her is that she always complains that people kind of look down on her, right? But you tell her, it's like, well, let me see, because she blames Ben for a lot of like what happened in her life. When she's crying out in the thing, you're like, well, last I checked, Olivia, and you say this to her. You actually stand up for yourself in the situation. You're like, well, Olivia, Ben didn't tell you to swap the photos out and try to fuck me over. You did that on your own. Ben didn't tell you to paint that painting either. You did that on your own. You should take responsibility for your own life and your own decisions. And she cries a lot when you say that, but she actually does admit that you're right. And then you hug it out and stuff. And those like that whole thing of talking about the whole backstory in Ben is really important for moving on because it actually is what you need to get the best ending. Because if you never really figure out what truly bugs Olivia, you never like really truly understand her, and it comes up way later on once the decisions because the story's going to play out kind of the key scenes are all going to happen. They'll just be like minor dialogue differences no matter what path you're on until eventually chapter 15, specifically 15.5 when you get called into the principal's office by Ben and Mia. Then that's when it actually is hard locked in, and then the actual paths start to split. Mm-hmm. But I need to explain this to you because now when I go into the more important shit later, it's going to start being really relevant of why this game really affected me the way it did, and really hit as hard as it did. Because
let me take a guess about what's up with Olivia. So from what you've described to me so far, definitely. So one thing you haven't explained so far is why this alligator is in a wheelchair.
They never actually explain it.
Way?
They never explain it. They literally never explain why she's in it.
That's actually a really smart play by them because in the back of your mind when you see this game, the first thing you think of is that alligator's in a wheelchair. What the fuck? Right? That's not like there's something wrong with it, but it's the most visually distinct thing that you notice immediately because no one else is in one. But the game isn't about that, which is kind of what's going on with Olivia's shit. It's the same kind of idea where it's you immediately notice her for this.
Yeah, it's all about her art. It's all about her art and her own imposter syndrome and shit, right? And part of that is because of the wheelchair, because of the people who pity her. But that's a real thing that a lot of people in wheelchairs will complain about. If you ever talk to one, they really hate people. They
talk to one.
Well, have you? Because I've talked to plenty.
It's just the way you said it. It was kind of funny to me.
Well, but my point is, a lot of them get really fucking annoyed when you offer them help. Anyway, my point is that while it is part of her character, it's not the only defining thing. It's the fact that she is a struggling artist. That is her defining characteristic. And so, as the story progresses, you learn more about Inko and his situation. So, when you go through more of Inko's life, you learn that his parents, because they're like these fancy people who work seriously in construction, they're never around. Inko is a very independent kid, but that's kind of what affects him and why he has no self-worth. He has no loving family. He has no friends. He has nothing going on. And so his entire personality is, like, trying to, like, be validated by others. That's why in the initial part of the game, he wears his nice fancy sunglasses and he bought himself a really nice cool ass jacket to hopefully like people will notice him and think he's kind of cool, right? And that's why he was getting so excited when he was getting all hyped up. And one of the things that you notice about the game is that Inko, and this is kind of fucked up to say, but I noticed it about my playthroughs, Inko is actually a lot like Ben in a lot of ways. Not just the fact that they're two glasses-wearing dudes who are into photography, but also the fact that they are kind of like these borderline psychopaths who only live through validation of others. They have no real validation of themselves. And Olivia, the reason she even fucked you over and tried to do the whole art stuff in general is because when you first show up, that's how she saw you, right? She thought you were just like Ben, but then she felt like she submitted the art like weeks ago, right? She did that a while ago when she thought like, oh, here's just some asshole who pities me, or he's just brought here because Damien told him to, so whatever, I don't give a fuck, right? But as she hangs out with you more, she's like, oh, he's actually not so bad. I feel terrible. This is awful. Oh my god, I almost fucked over this innocent guy for nothing, right? That's why she was all like devastated by it. But as the story goes on, you learn more about like why he's the way that he is, and you start really piecing together. Iadakin invites you over to have like a photography session with you and Ben at like a wedding thing, and there's more interesting dialogue choices here because you have a choice to either like talk to Damien about like Olivia because you feel bad for her because she's kind of like in a little depressing funk right now, or focus on yourself right now and focus on the photography at hand. What do you think is the correct option in that situation?
Well, so the character himself, Inko, so far has just been kind of doing things. He's just been kind of surface level doing shit. And the intended path kind of would be your dude's like, hey, Olivia, you maybe take your own fucking accountability. You're kind of being a cunt right now.
Yeah.
And then after that point, it wouldn't really make sense for him to be like, oh, actually, I was really, I felt bad about her for doing that. No, it would be like, I need to work. If I'm going to, because he didn't drop out of the competition, right? He's still in the semifinals.
So here's what, that gets really interesting. He doesn't drop out because they make a little pact. And this is where the relationship really starts. I'm glad you asked that. So you're like, if they find out you're a fraud, like, it's over for you, Inko. And then, like, I'm going to be to blame, too. Like, we're fucked. I can't do this. And Inko's like, I have an idea. What if I wasn't a fraud? What if you taught me how to paint? And so you start hanging out together more, and she starts giving you art lessons. And that's how the relationship really, like, kicks off beyond more than just friends, because you just hang out with each other, like, every fucking day painting. So he doesn't get out of the competition, but things kind of happen. This is actually kind of a downside, I think, with the game, is that when you do painting for a little while, but then so much story shit happens like back to back to back, like kind of gets dropped because shit just happens, and you end up pulling yourself out of the submission by just talking to the principal because of some bullshit. But it's this whole complicated like interweaving thing. And I don't want to like spoil the whole thing for the story's sake. You do eventually drop out, just not immediately, right? Because things happen. But yes, Ted, you are correct. The correct option is to focus on yourself because you need to also build Inko up as well. And so it's really interesting is that in this scene, this is one of those little important scenes too that I want to describe, is that it's a wedding because Iadakin's buddy is getting married, right? And he's the art teacher. So he brings you and Ben, taking all these fancy photos. Ben's taking like 1 billion fucking photos. He's like, yeah, I like filled up the 2 SD cards already. This is fucking going great. Inko only fills up 1, but when the ceremony's closing and the groom and the bride are walking away, they're doing a funny little silly thing where the guy is carrying his wife through a piggyback thing. It's kind of silly, and Inko sees that immediately, and without even thinking, immediately takes a picture of that, and that ends up becoming the guy's favorite photo because it's the most natural kind of real thing, right? So that, and you only get that photo if you focus on Inko's situation right there, right? It makes him a better photographer, and so I'm going to speed up, and I want to get to what's really important about the thing, is when the paths diverge. Because, again, I don't want to spoil the whole fucking game. Like, I want to get to the meat of what's really important. So, throughout the game of building either of them up or failing to do so, we'll split the games off in different paths. So, what changes is when you are pulled in by Miss Scaler, who's the principal, by Ben and Mia. Ben being the glasses nerd guy, who's a kind of a little bit of a psycho, and used Olivia for clout, and then Mia, who's like the big bully of the school. Ben and Mia are actually dating, and that's why even though you become friends with Ben initially, there's a lot of friction there because Olivia and Mia don't like each other at all.
Why does Mia hate Olivia? Does she just think, look at this moody bitch?
Mia just hates everybody, basically, because she's just like a bully. But what really happens is that Mia, I don't even fucking... She didn't actually explain how she finds it out, but she finds out... No, I remember now. She finds out that Olivia swapped your art, because she's seen Olivia's art, because she, hangs out with Ben, and Ben promoted the art originally, right? She immediately recognized Olivia's art style, and she immediately confronts Olivia... And Olivia spills the fucking beans because she gets threatened by, it's Mia. You're gonna just do what she fucking says. She can literally kill you because they are dinosaurs. They can actually just kill you. So she then starts blackmailing Olivia, saying I'm gonna let everyone know if you don't do this art for my fucking group projects and shit and get my grades up and shit for me. And so you find that out, and you have this scene where you try to get Olivia out of there. And do this hallway chase thing. She tries to threaten you with the spikes of her tail. You smack it away. It smacks into the fucking wall. Hits this fucking piece of fucking glittery art that someone hung up there. Smacks it right back into her face. She gets fucking pissed off, and you both run off. And while you guys hide in the handicapped elevator because she can't get in there, she just starts trashing the fucking hallway and destroys everything. And until eventually Iadakin comes in. Iadakin, who says, "Fuck the lawsuit, I'm gonna protect Olivia," comes in with a fucking taser stick and scares her off.
The lawsuit?
Oh yeah, fuck the lawsuit. He comes in with a taser stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fucking... he doesn't zap her. She just fucks off when she sees it. But the hallway was destroyed, right? The whole thing is that the hallway was fucked up, and so no matter when you pick, is Mia and Ben try to blame you for it, and that's why you get pulled in, right? So what happens
and
here
Ben's
is
probably doing it because he's afraid of Mia.
Yeah, and he's gonna literally, yes, dear. He's in that kind of situation with Mia. So he's doing all this, and how you deal with them is based on the route, but also if you confronted Olivia earlier in the rain, because then you know Ben's backstory with her. Because she never tells you if you don't confront her in that situation. All you know is that Ben and her don't get along in all the other routes, right? So you have a lot of different situations, and the worst ending has a really interesting situation. It only adds more to how similar Inko is to Ben. And the worst ending is very important. So the worst ending, Inko is what if I threw myself under the bus right here? Because if I did that and got Mia and Ben off scot-free, they'd owed me. Imagine what I could do in this school if the two most powerful people in the school owed me something. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Because he starts thinking like Ben. He starts thinking it like that, like a game. And so you throw yourself under the bus, and they're both surprised at it. But Ben, because he's like a psychopath, he immediately knows what you're doing, elbows in Mia, and they both, yeah, that's what happened. Yep, totally, yep, totally. And so you become... In the worst ending, you become closer with the two worst people. It's funny. It's really interesting seeing Inko become this... I don't want to call him a mastermind, but this purely this evil Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2 vibe, where he's just seeing it for he's just seeing it for what it can get him, right?
Now, is Olivia in this meeting?
No, it's just no, because what happens is that, okay, this is a big spoiler. But what happens is Iadakin, he actually does a really cool thing where, so Olivia is really has the imposter syndrome because of her art, right? She hates that painting that's on the wall. Iadakin does her a solid, and he destroys that painting, effectively freeing her from this thing that's weighing on her mind, right? But a week or two later, Iadakin actually passes away because he was suffering from fucking bone cancer, and it was actually hinted at throughout the whole game of why he's always so tired and exhausted all the time.
Now, Iadakin, which one is this again?
He's the art teacher who tries to get you guys together in the first place. He's like Damien. He's the one who pairs you both up, and he's a big inspiration to Olivia because he's an artist himself. And once he passes away, Olivia fucking shuts down because she does not handle losing a mentor figure well at all. And so how she handles it is also based on the route because how built up she is. In the worst ending where you haven't built either of them up, she just shuts down entirely. she like regresses super hard. She becomes really cold, really snappy at people, and she just becomes like the worst version of herself. And it's very depressing. But what's really important that I want to discuss, without spoiling the whole ending, is that she loses her passion and drive for art. And some of the things she said, I was, again, it's that hairy bit. I was like, oh, I've said that. It's the little thing. It's not like, oh, she never says something like, oh, I'm gonna quit art because someone I love is dead. No, she just says, like, you just said, like, hey Olivia, I noticed you haven't been painting. Are you okay? Like, you still do art, and she just goes like, I just never really felt like it. It's just a little line, but I know because I'm an artist, that has so many that has so much weight to it, especially if you come from like the other endings too, where she's more into art. That hits so fucking hard. Like, it's so depressing to see her like lose all of her passion. And like, fuck dude, it hurts. But what's more important is that like, I really want to talk about ending 2. Okay, I don't want to spoil ending 1. I want to spoil all the endings. I want to get to what's really important. Right there that was one of the key things that really stuck out to me, was what she said when she lost all of her passion. Then I did ending 2. Now, the first ending I got was actually ending 4. Ending 4 is like the best ending, like super sweet, little like romance, and it was really cute and charming, and I really liked it. But it wouldn't have changed my life if I stopped it right there. You actually gave me advice where you even said like, you just play the one ending and call it a day there. And I thought about that, but I'm actually glad I didn't listen to you in the situation, because I would not have made the
Alex
changes.
not listening to me. That's never happened before.
I know, right? But my point is that because I didn't listen to you, I got a way more interesting story. Like, imagine playing Disco Elysium only one time over, Tad.
Hey, my advice wasn't to play it one and done. It was to play it the amount that you think you've experienced the full game. As much as you're interested in it. Like, Disco, I'm not going to do a run for, like, everything. I did my Dale Cooper run. I started my Capitalist run and decided, fuck that, art was much better, and I'm pairing up with conceptualization now. And I'm going to do one more, possibly, where I'm a disgusting, horrible, drug-addicted hobo. Or not, if I don't want to put Harry through that. I might just not even do that run.
I like it, by the way, like how you worded that. You don't want to put Harry through that because you care about Harry that much. I saw that. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah. So,
the character, Alex, sometimes characters in a story can be something worthwhile and not an excuse. It doesn't happen very often in fucking video games. You know, you mostly gotta like read a book, which I'll admit it's a fucking pain in the ass.
But because I got 4, I had a sweet romance, but I wanted more. I wanted to see the rest of the story, and so I immediately got the worst ending out of the way because it was painful. Though it was a very interesting Inko character study. But E2 actually is the thing that broke me. E2 I'm going to fully spoil because it's fucking depressing. So E2 is what happens when you build Olivia up but never build up Inko. And so Inko has no real self-worth or value, but he does really love Olivia. And the only validation he's ever really gotten is from Olivia. And so he kind of becomes conjoined to Olivia at like the hip. And becomes this really interesting dynamic where Olivia is super into art now. She's super passionate. You gassed her up, built her up. She's like all into it and stuff. You go like into an art museum for like, your big first date, and she sees like Iodakun's art there and stuff. He's in like this little like corner room. She's like, yeah, I'm super inspired right now. I'm gonna continue his legacy and shit. And it's going really well until the eulogy at the Winter Formal, which is this event. And everyone at the school is like giving a little like, yeah, I like this teacher. It's sad he's dead. Blah blah blah. Everyone's kind of doing it. Olivia makes her speech kind of about herself because, again, she's been so gassed up about how good of an artist she is and how she's continuing Iodakun's legacy. She turns his death all about her. The crowd doesn't really like that, and they kind of boo her, and she kind of snaps. She snaps that they all just don't understand. They don't fucking get art. Fuck them. He was more important to her than anyone. And she, like, storms off. You confront her, and you're like, Olivia, that was kind of mean. Everyone said that he died. You can't do that. You should be a little nicer. And you're like, she's like, why the fuck should I do that? Like, fuck, they don't get it. And you blurt something out. You're like, well, when you do stuff like that, it makes me look bad. And she doesn't like hearing that at all. So she gets real pissy at you there. Because, again, you have no self-worth beyond her. So if she starts snapping and being all uppity, what does that say about you, right? Because what's Inko without Olivia? It's all he knows now. So she actually breaks up with you there, and he's devastated because he has nothing else going on. Inko has a very sad life. You actually learn more about Inko's life in ending 2, and it's really depressing. Remember how I said how he doesn't have a lot going on? What if I told you he has even less? You see his house life.
Is it that classic fucking 4chan meme with the Wojak sitting on the futon with an Xbox controller and a bottle of water and nothing?
Ted, he doesn't even really like video games. Like he thinks video games are kind of whatever. He doesn't really like playing them. But he'll watch plenty of weird analysis videos of it just to kill time while he's doing other stuff. And so
interesting.
He does like movies. He like when the little brother from Damien's little brother Vinny starts talking about like movies are dumb. I'd rather just watch YouTube shit. Fucking Inko snaps at him. So he likes movies. But instead of liking
at a child.
Yes, he's like what the fuck? What do you mean you don't fucking like The Godfather? Mr. Beast is fucking nothing like Mr. Godfather. You fucking take that fucking back right goddamn now.
You take that shit back. Legend of White Dragon or Legend of White Mare is a fucking incredible Hungarian 1989 animated movie.
But that's
hallowed be its name.
But that's Inko. Inko has nothing going on. He doesn't have a family. He doesn't have any real big hobbies, or he doesn't play video games or draw. He just does photography and shit and likes watching movies. And he just kind of sits around and does whatever. And it really dawns on him in this moment how little he has going on now that Olivia's gone. Because he spent the past year or so, whatever the fuck, just like helping out this fucking crippled Gator girl. Oh my god, I have nothing. So he texts her begging to take him back, and she does. But then the relationship goes really fucking different after this, because Olivia Olivia kind of figures it out, because she's smart. She figures out...
She is now going like, I'm doing this out of pity for him.
No.
And she becomes more and more depressed because this is not a real relationship anymore.
So it's not that. It's actually a little more cruel. She learned from you, like when she breaks up with you, you just put your hand on her and she like fucking like bites at you, like tries like she's a gator. That'll fucking she's a baryonyx actually. She's a dinosaur. She's not actually an alligator. But like she could have just taken your hand off right there, right? Like she knows that after that you still want to come back. She can basically do whatever she wants to you. She now knows that you have no worth beyond her, and makes the relationship really fucking toxic, where even though she's been gassed up, because she has had no one to really, like, again, you never tell her, own up to your own damn problems, Olivia. You never stand up for yourself. She becomes the worst version of herself with a lot of pride. So in the ending, a 3-year time skip happens. So after you guys graduate and shit, 3-year time skip, you now live in an apartment together. You're like her boyfriend still, and she works as an art curator at the museum. And she doesn't make a lot of money, because even though she's been really good at art lately, she refuses to ever take any kind of weird handout, because plenty of people want to promote her art, but they always want to promote her art like, hey, look at this cripple. Look at the beautiful art she can do. And that fucking, like she mentioned, and you only figure that out if you confront her. But you didn't confront her in the situation, right? So you never know what's really bugging her. So it pisses her off. She doesn't want to do that. And you work really, really hard to basically help support her in her little apartment, because being an artist doesn't make a lot of money. And it's actually a depressing thing that Olivia never realizes that, but Iedakin was a great artist, and his art was featured in that museum. What was he doing again? Oh yeah, teaching art in a high school. Like, he still had a job, right? Like, being an artist isn't... Like, she's not going to live that fantasy dream of being this billionaire artist that she wants to be, or that she thinks that she can be, because she's been so gassed up with all this pride, right? So she's just this miserable fucking little tiny apartment. They're just like this horrible dysfunctional couple. And there are things Inko said in there that really stuck out with me. The initial thing is when he walks into his little apartment with her, he just puts things down, and he said a line where it was... I gave up a lot for Olivia. I don't do photography anymore. I don't live with my parents no more. I make my own money now, and I'm just doing my best to support her. I love her dearly. I do a lot for her, and I've given up so much for her. And that really stuck in my mind for a completely different reason that I'm going to come back to. But the line, I gave up a lot for Olivia, really, really just hit me in the back of my head for a bit, right? Those little lines. So Olivia comes home late, because she's at the art museum with an interview person for like a very, very long time. You guys want to go on a date and have like fun, but because she was late, you couldn't anymore, right? And you get in this big heated argument. I actually screenshotted the entire fucking argument, And I'm going to very quickly post it to you on Discord because because when you come from like the good endings into that one, it fucking stings. Let me quickly give that to you so you have some context here.
So with that line where he says, "I've given up a lot," I'm sure this is probably what's going to come up in the conversation here. But Olivia hasn't given up anything.
Exactly.
An actual relationship requires a give and take from both sides. If one person is always going forward and the other person has to like drop shit, that has to give things up that they care about, and the other side does not care, that's not a relationship. That is a goon and a lackey.
Exactly. And when she first comes in, she's like, it didn't fucking work, and you're just like, okay, well, Olivia, like, you always bitch and moan about not having any money. Why don't you just fucking let them use you for clout? Why don't you just promote your fucking art, all right? Who gives a shit if they give you some stupid tagline like, differently abled but still able? Fuck it. Like, just take the fucking money at this fucking point. And she gets pissed, you're like, hey, that's bullshit. You're supposed to fucking support me and stuff. And not only is that like a little bit of a telling line of what she thinks about you, but she has this. It says that her claws, because her claws are retractable, they come out and like grip her chair like really like hard. And Inko says, "I know she won't use them. Those don't scare me anymore." Again, that's a really telling fucking line. But like, here's the entire conversation that plays out. The first immediately is like when she says she has a shit on you for how your parents didn't care about you. Look at her fucking face when you smack her with, "At least my parents didn't abandon me to some other poor family to raise me instead." Look at her fucking face. Look at that. Yeah. When she bitches at you, you're just angry. When you bitch at her, because, like, again, you're used to what she throws at you. She's not used to you speaking back up. Mm-hmm. Look at her goddamn eyes, because you know that stung. But, like, you complain, like, you're no different than those so-called phonies that abuse their disability, except you're broke. Again, look at her fucking face. Because she knows there's truth to what you say. She knows deep down that is a little bit true, and she fucking snaps. And her angry sprite in this time skip is actually different in the argument, where now there's tears in her eyes, because while she's mad, she knows there's a little bit about you that's kind of correct. And it's just so sad seeing this conversation come to them as like this sad, like, they're not married, but like it's like a bad marriage couple, right? And just like, fuck, dude. And also, the thing she said at the end there, where she says she calls you a useless sack of shit skinny, that's actually a slur in universe that dinos call humans. They call them skinnies. And then humans can call dinos triggers.
Well, that's what people are using in the fucking Snoot game.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But, like, this conversation was super interesting to me to see, because not only was it just really, like, really telling how she treats them and shit, but, like, it stung so hard because it made me think about something. It actually made me think about how I am with a certain game that I play a lot of. And this is what I really want to talk about this episode. Not just this, was another part of it. And you might actually relate to this a little bit.
It's about a game and not how, like, you may have treated some of your friends that have given up, like, some significant opportunities because they're your friend and they care about you. It's about the video game.
Fucking, what have you fucking done other than talk about it on a fucking podcast?
I've done a lot. This isn't about me. This is about Olivia.
Fuck it, I will fucking kill you. My point is, do you want to be Olivia, Tad?
Nope.
So,
I will never be Olivia.
My point is...
That's a fucked up line to say. Oh, like you would know. Your fucking parents aren't even around. They'd rather get shit-faced every night than deal with you once. That's when that bitch goes down some stairs. But that's because I have self-respect and self-worth. My validation does not come from what other people think of me. Somehow. I don't know how. I grew up as a kid playing nothing but fucking video games. I don't know how I became a well-rounded person.
So, what I really learned about E2 is that I'm kind of like E2 Inko, unfortunately, Dad. I kind of don't have anything going on. I kind of am just kind of vibing off of what other people say and do. I kind of actually don't have much. And one of the things that I've played a lot, as you guys know in the Gacha Discord, is I play a lot of Arc Knights, right? Chinese mobile game that I've talked about. I mentioned it on the podcast a bunch, right? I stopped playing Fate. I started playing this one because it was just a way better game. I love the aesthetic and vibe, and it was way easier than my fucking wallet, right? And I was really, really, really into that game. And when Inko mentioned that he gave up a lot for Olivia, I realized something, that I give up a lot of my free time for this game. I give up a suspicious amount of free time for this game because I play it in the morning. I play it at my lunch break, right? And if I'm not playing through like the levels, I gotta read the goddamn novel-ass fucking story they keep pumping out every goddamn month, which are longer than novels. They're like 70,000 fucking words each. Sometimes 100,000 fucking words. You know how fucking long that is, Tad? That's fucking long, dude.
Now, Alex, I got a question for you about this. So, how many Discords are you in that are based on? You're talking about Arknights, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How many Discords and friend groups are you in that are about Arknights?
I'm in the 2 official ones, and then I was talking about a lot in our Gacha Discord and in another artist Discord. They have a little channel for it. So basically 2.5, really.
So how long have you been playing Arknights, and has it been this important?
About 5 years, and yeah, it has been.
All right, now, Alex, do you know of someone else who may have also had a level of obsession this big?
A little someone named Ted with RuneScape.
I was going to say Homestuck.
Oh, yes, but that too. Well, another thing I did was, so you know how in Homestuck you would, like, get up early or just, like, you had the Homestuck app ready for every single update, Tad?
I had the MSPA notifier on my computer running 24/7. If there was ever a Homestuck update, it would pop up and go bloop bloop, and it would say update. So, I mean, now that I'm saying that out loud, that does sound like it's kind of unhealthy.
Does it? Again, I started thinking, when Inko was talking, and he had that one little line, I started thinking, like, I have an alarm on my phone for 4:30 in the morning that's just labeled Arknights for the Chinese streams at 5 in the morning.
What? Okay, alright, that Alex, you would have to literally hold a gun to my fucking head to wake me up at 4:30. Or me thinking I heard the sound of my MSPA notifier, because I have done that, actually. You know what? I got no legs to stand on here. Call me Olivia. I ain't got no legs to stand on.
Ted's just sleeping. You fucking roll out of your bed. Gotta see it.
It's like when Banjo was added to Smash. You woke up. There was a force that knew you had to wake up.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, I have this poster over here, I got all this shit over here, and I'm like, you know what, I do kind of just surround myself entirely with this thing. I am, like, really, really into it. And I really like it. But I gave up a lot for Olivia. I gave up a lot of my goddamn time. Like when I hacked my 3DS, I'm like, I can totally fine with playing my 3DS and Arknights between, like, the dead weeks and stuff. Little Freudian slip there. The little line.
Between the dead weeks.
Yeah, I'm dedicating my playtime of a completely different system with 2,000 games on it. When Arknights it's effectively what's convenient for Arknights to do something. I'm allowed to do something, right? Think about that. And I didn't even process that. I never even thought about that. Though I had a little bit of those seeds of doubt when I hacked my Vita, and then I really started thinking, like, I am never gonna have enough time to play all these fucking games, dude. Right? I started thinking about that. But when I saw this, like, unhealthy relationship just unfold in this horrible way, and just see how Inko was kind of handling it, I realized that, in a sad way, that is kind of how I handle Arknights, really. I am kind of just in this abusive relationship with that game, because, like, a year, like 4 years ago, that game didn't have 5 extra fucking game modes that all required me to play every fucking month, right? I just played the game and read the story, and that was it. But now it has all this extra shit attached to it that eats more and more of your time, and it's becoming increasingly obvious the game only that game wants that to be the only game you really ever play, right? I'm only allowed to play my 3DS during my lunch breaks instead when it's convenient for the game.
Outside of the watchful eye of Arknights.
Yeah. And it sounds silly. Well, maybe not to you. You had a fucking Homestuck app in your fucking thing.
I get what you're saying, though. Like, this is something that you can only operate within the parameters this outside force is allowing you to have.
Yeah,
You know?
and, like, I liked it, but, like, it's becoming increasingly obvious that it's not healthy for me to do that. If I want to get through even half of the fucking games on here, because, like, think of it this way. Tad, what if I just did Ending 4, and then just went back to Arcades after that, right? What if I didn't do Ending 2? What if I didn't do Ending 2? Think about it. If I did not do Ending 2, what would I have been? If I didn't see, effectively, like this twisted version of myself as fucking E2 Inko, bald guy with sunglasses, by the way, just thrown in my goddamn face. So, this game actually made me realize, like, even though I beat my MMO addiction, and I couldn't even play Turtle WoW, right? I'm just not in an MMO mood anymore. That little demon inside of me is still there. He still wants, he still craves not only a number go up, but effectively another world to get lost in and a community to hang out in. Because it's not just about playing this game. It's also going out to Arknights General, talking to those Discords and shit, posting memes, talking with them, and all hanging out like, oh shit, guys, stream's up here. Like when you're watching that stream at fucking 5 in the morning, you're all just posting bullshit fucking memes and shit, right? Like, that's part of it. Like, if you were reading Homestuck by yourself, you wouldn't have given as much of a shit if you weren't on Homestuck General, right, Dad?
Yeah, here's a little known Tad story. I actually gave up the first time I was reading Homestuck. I got to the end of Act 1, and I was like, I don't know, man, this is kind of lame. But my friend at the time, Tim, he was like, nah, man, you got to go for it. And I was like, all right, well, I like hanging out with Tim. He likes this. I guess I'll keep reading. Mm-hmm. So there's a universe out there where I just said, fuck this guy, he's weird. And I never read Homestuck. Jesus Christ, we would be on Mars by now, dude.
Those towers wouldn't have fallen, dude. I'm just saying. So I had this whole thing planned where I was actually going to do this really cool thing where while we were talking, I was going to like uninstall the game as like this cool moment, but I couldn't do that because something really fucked happened. So I was thinking like, I should quit this game. I love it to death. I really do. But like if I want more time for more games that could inspire me like this, right? If I want more time for these other kinds of things, I have to get rid of it. I need to just play my 3DS more. I need to play my Vita more while I'm at work and stuff. I need to draw more. Imagine how much art I can be doing because I haven't drawn something since like fucking February, right?
You're having to make the value judgment to be like, do I like thing 1 enough to be okay with losing thing 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Exactly.
And for most cases, it probably wouldn't be super healthy, in any kind of scenario for thing 1 to take over that much of your life. You know?
Exactly.
Unless it's a child, right? Like if me and Kirsten have a kid, like, sorry guys, podcast done. I got something a little bit more fucking important.
Yeah,
like you might get a stream every now and then, but you ain't getting shit out of me, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to uninstall it, but then I went to bed one day when I was just first thinking about it, and I had a fucking weird dream. I know, I had a fucking weird dream. I had a dream where I was talking to myself on Discord of all fucking things. I was talking to myself, and basically it was just like we are right now, and the other me was trying to convince me to not quit the game. And it was fucking terrifying, dude. Because he was making all these weird, like, bargains with me. Like, RA2, which is a game mode, Reclamation Algorithm 2. He was like, it's not so bad, you can just skip it, you can just do this. You're like, not that much time, you can just do this instead. And he was making all these judgments to me. And I woke up from that dream like that guy from Ren and Stimpy. And I immediately said, I gotta quit this shit right fucking now. And so I just uninstalled it immediately upon waking up. So like I couldn't wait to do it in the episode. I had to do it immediately because I talked to my own fucking demon. I tell you, he tried to convince me to stay after I had doubts for
Alex,
once.
You quite literally had a conversation with Half-Light.
Tad, I'm a lot like Harry. He's literally me.
I don't want to be this kind of monster anymore.
Yeah, so like I got rid of it. And dude, fuck, dude. I'm gonna talk about like addiction for a little bit, Tad. Dude, it was so fucking weird. It was so weird waking up. No, it's serious. Like, this sounds stupid, but Tad,
I understand.
Imagine you woke up and you didn't hear your Homestuck alert go off. Imagine you woke up that day. There was supposed to be an update and you didn't fucking hear it, and it felt so fucking weird because not only did I just not that I had more time, and I was drawing a little more often, drawing more for the whole week so far, but like what really got me really feeling weird was when I was on Twitter. I was trying to like unfollow some of the art I followed, and what happened is when I saw like an Arknight's fan art get posted, it hit me differently because it felt like I was no longer like in. It felt like I was like outside looking in at like this community, right? It was only a couple of days, right? It's not really a big deal, but it hits me like, if I quit this, I gotta stop looking at this because it's gonna make me want to play again, right? If I start thinking about the community, it's gonna make me want to play again. So it's this weird situation where, like, again, imagine you, Tad, looking at the Homestuckies and you're not part of it anymore, right? But you didn't leave out of spite like you did. You left because you had to, right? It's just this
I left
weird
because
feeling.
The comic had the giga pauses. This was the thing that I would do all the time. When I was a child, pretty much, I basically used only a few places on the internet. I would use fucking 4chan, because I was an unsupervised child. I would use DatStream, because they were almost always streaming something. And if no one was streaming, there was a chat, people were talking, they were having fun, doing whatever, right? Then specifically, the other one was on 4chan, the Homestuck General threads. To the point where I still have a bookmark in my my Firefox. It takes me to like napita.mozai.com or something, and that has a fucking guide. You click it and it tells you every single Homestuck thread on 4chan.
Fucking base, dude.
It's still up. It still works. He also has a bunch of other shit on there, but that's there's like a Homestuck board game and a bunch of other random crap. It's pretty cool. It starts to feel weird when something is you do something every single time it's accompanied with something else. I imagine this is how people feel with cigarettes. So here's something that I was doing, and I didn't realize how often I was doing this until I started having like a weird feeling like you did. I didn't have a dream where I had to debate with evil Tad, you know? But every single time I was taking Angus out, I received green materials from someplace. I'll say that. And I was like, oh, you know what? Hey, it's a good opportunity. You know, he wants to go out there and he wants to play for like 30 minutes. Well, what can I do outside for 30 minutes? I'm a fucking nerd. I was like, I don't really want to play RuneScape. So I'll roll this up, you know, I'll pack it and we'll go out there and I'll just relax. It's really nice out. I got my backyard. Why not? So you do that every single time you take the fucking dog out for like 2 months. Then all of a sudden you're like, you're not even thinking about it. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel like I need this? What the fuck? Mm-hmm. And so what I've been doing recently, ever since I kind of had that revelation, I'm like, whoa, holy shit, dude. If I'm not paying attention to myself, I would just like, I'd be one of those people puffing on their fucking vape pen all day because it's so easy. It's so accessible to just keep doing that shit.
Exactly.
I went back and I started, when I was living at home, there was a few TV shows I used to always watch, and one of them was fucking Intervention. Let me go look at some Intervention style shit, because I'm starting to feel like I'm an addict, dude. Because my mom smoked cigarettes for a long time. In my 30 years, Alex, I have had one pack of cigarettes, and every now and then I will get like I go for a cigarette right now. One pack, and it's like
100 cigarettes.
I could get 500. I could end this podcast right now and get 500 cigarettes. Funny quick story about cigarettes. I don't think I ever told this on the podcast. When I was 8, my mom gave me $20 and had me walk like 3 miles down the road to go buy cigarettes for her in like 2003. Anyway. So, like, I was watching, you know, some of these intervention videos. I watched this video of this guy named... Oh, what the hell was it? I just had the video open. I can't find it. It was, like, Gypsy Ron or something. He was talking about when he fucking OD'd on heroin. And I'm like, let me check this out. Because I have no intention of ever doing heroin, right? But I'm like, let me see what this guy's got to say. And, I was unfortunately identifying with a lot of things he was talking about, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh fuck, dude. Like, he would talk about how he would wake up, and the first thing on his mind is like, all right, let me go ahead and get this, and then I'll start my day. And it's like, why? Why do you have to start that first and then your day? Like, when I get home from work, why am I thinking that I immediately have to fucking smoke weed? Like that, I haven't had to do that for 29 years. Why is this suddenly a problem?
Yeah, another thing, when you say that, like, you know, the Chinese gaming phone, which I also bought for that game and the other game for it, not only was that another thing that I gave up, you know, that I invested so hard for my sweet Chinese gacha, but also, I'm glad I got that phone, actually, because that phone and the little gaming mode that I showed you when I streamed it to you, that showed me how many hours I had in it. I had like 350 hours when you looked at it, right? Tad, that was since I bought the phone. that was in a couple of months. I'm mad, like, and then that was it. One of those little doubts in my mind for a little while. I'm like, that's probably like at least like 1,500 or something, right? Over the course of like 5 years.
And it's like Dota 2. When I was looking at your Steam profile and you saw that shit.
But I started thinking, like, Tad, what if? Because I played a little in the morning. I couldn't do this for lunch break, obviously, but what if every like hour and a half I played it in the morning, doing whatever bullshit it had me doing on that day, because it never ends, you know? What if instead of that, I just drew a little in my sketchbook that day instead? Where would I be if those 300 hours since buying that, just right there, every morning, I was drawing instead? That's what I was thinking about. And so, again, it's just... I gave up a lot for Olivia. I gave up a lot for this game, and I had to get rid of it. And it hurts, because I like the game a lot, and I still kind of like it, even though it's gotten bloated over time. But it's just like, if I want to do other things and actually take art more seriously, because I saw what happens to an artist who loses their passion, and it fucking scared me. It was so sad seeing her be like that. And then I saw what could potentially happen in a better future. Because I only talked about ending 3. Ending 3 is the good ending, but it's still kind of realistic and down to earth. So in ending 3, Olivia doesn't fully get over the teacher's death. Instead, she kind of shuts down, but like not fully like she does in something like 1. And ending 3 is if you built both Inko and Olivia up a lot, and either they're not at 4, which is the max, they're both at 3, or they're at 4, but you never confronted her about Ben during the rain scene, right? So that if you were to like get them perfectly capped out anyway, if you didn't do that one choice, you'd be locked out of the best ending no matter what. But in this ending, what happens is that Olivia actually, well, you have a decent time. She ends up not wanting to go to the winter formal. She ends up wanting to just do something else. She doesn't want to think about the teacher's death because she wants to give the eulogy speech. She doesn't want to do anything. She just wants to do something else. She just doesn't want her mind to be there. She's going on like a date with her somewhere else instead of going to the winter dance. But while you're out in the date, you're having a good time, but it kind of clicks with her when she sees like this grandfather talking to his granddaughter, and when she sees them talk to each other, she realizes that like, oh wait, Iedakin, like, I can be an artist as good as him. I can carry on his legacy. Unlike before in ending 2 where other people gas her up to that, she kind of realizes that on her own, which is way different from being told and doing something yourself. You know that, right? So she realizes that like, now that I've seen that, I know what I wanted to say for my speech. Let's go back to the dance. So you quickly running all the way from like the side of town, quickly go to like a dress store, get her like a nice little dress, which is like a kimono. Okay, just like, fuck it, it's green, just put it on, we gotta run. You're running back, you run back, and you don't make it. You get there and it's over. It's 10-2. The thing, everyone's supposed to leave the building by 10, it's 2 past, everyone's gone. Only people who are there, the janitor's cleaning up, and Ben, who's just supervising. And you're like, Ben, we know, we're sorry, all right? We're here, we want to do the speech, call everyone back. And Ben's like, yeah, dude, I'll totally call everyone back to come to this fucking building so you can give your bullshit speech. I have a better idea. Why don't you give the speech to me right now? And Olivia just like, no, because she's like so devastated, right? And Ben's like, excellent, done. Wow, cool, nice speech, awesome, cool. Hey, Olivia, no, I have a speech for you. You failed. You failed Iedakin. You failed me. You failed everybody. Get the fuck out of here. And then Inko has the most realistic line of dialogue I've ever seen, where he takes his glasses off with these angry-looking eyes, and he just says, dude, what the fuck is your fucking problem? Which is, that's the most realistic line I've ever heard him say. But, like, after that, you go back home, and Ben's words fucking stung, dude. Like, she shuts down. She stops going to school. You have to bring her homework and shit, and her grades start slipping really hard. You're trying to comfort her and be there for her, and you are making progress. But guess who shows up to talk about her missing school? Oh fuck, it's Ben. Ben's like, hey, look. Ben likes something. He's like, look, I want to go in there. I want to talk to her. I want to say sorry. She's got to come back to school. Her grades are getting really bad. And you're like, dude, get the fuck out of here. She does not want to fucking talk to you, man. And he's like, look, I want to talk to her. Because the only reason I'm even here is because her grades are so bad, they sent me here. Here's a piece of paper. I gotta go talk to her. And you fucking shove him away, and you're like, fuck you, dude, get the fuck out of here, you fucking psycho. And that's a word that actually stings Ben a little bit, and you'll find out why it stings him a little bit in the 4th ending. But he fucks off. But Olivia overhears that conversation. She went from kind of sad to just wrapped up in her blanket, depressed, and kind of just shuts down again. And the last line Inko says in the ending is just, fucking Ben. So then it time skips. 1 year later, after graduation, Olivia didn't actually graduate. She kind of just flunked out because she just stopped going to school. So what ends up happening is a similar ending to ending 2, where you lived in an apartment together, a much nicer one, because in this ending you have a slightly better job, but Olivia didn't give up on art. Because while she's shut down, she's recovered a little bit. It's been a year, school's over, like, she can do other things in life. So now she actually became a digital artist, and she does like art streams and stuff and makes money on the internet. And she has a nice little life with you. She doesn't make a lot of money, but she's happy in the situation that she's in. And you have this nice little touchy moment where the two of you go back to the school, kind of reminisce a little bit, and you go visit Mr. Iedakin's grave, where Olivia says that, now that it's been all this time, I don't give a shit about the speech, I don't give a shit about Ben anymore. I just want to become a good artist that you can be proud of, right? She essentially does her speech that she wanted to do to like the gravesite, right? As like an emotional thing. And it ends there as you guys like hug it out and stuff. It's like a nice little touching scene. And I really like that ending because it's like, it's really down to earth because, yeah, you didn't get the perfect, like, fairy tale ending, but it's like, I mean, it's not so bad, right? You got a nice life together, and everything's going well, and like she is still doing her art, and she's doing her art in a realistic way. Where she's not this big famous artist; she's just making money digitally on the internet. That's kind of like that realistic
She's a
depiction.
Twitter artist.
Basically, yeah, she does commissions and streams and shit. It's just like that. That kind of like made me think about things because like when I'm talking to you, Tad, I thought about all these things I want to create. Realistically speaking, could I even do half of what I want, Tad? Let's be completely fucking real. Probably fucking not. Not only am I a full-time wage sheet, I have no time, but let's be real, I probably couldn't. But that's fine even if I don't succeed at that, because I can still just be a good artist. I can still just do art, and I can still just do art like this. I don't have to, it doesn't have to be literally everything I want in life or the highway, because that's kind of what happens to Olivia in 2 and 1, where she doesn't get the fairy tale ending that she kind of wants, and she kind of just shuts down, or as you see in the screenshots, becomes like the worst version of herself, right? Because of all of her pride. And that ending really spoke to me, and it just like, it inspired me to want to draw more often. Because all of these things combined, because it's not like when I played this game, and the real answer to answer your question of why this game inspired me and like changed me the way they did, it's not because I got ending 4, they had the nice romantic dance scene, they got together, and that the epilogue where he like wants to marry her and stuff, which is really sweet. And then I got a little teary. I mean, who didn't? Who doesn't like a good romance? But that wouldn't have changed my life. That would have just been a good romance story. It's seeing their failures, bad
You get to
ends,
see
and
the extrapolation of their character flaws if they never address them.
Yeah, but
if
I also
she
get
never
to see.
really gets around to like the ending you were just talking about, where it's like, okay, you know, she's not, you know, she flunked out of school and now she's, you know, she's found something that she can do. She takes some pride in it, but you know, it's something she could take solace in. It is something new and fun. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor. Could I technically could I go back to school for it? Yeah, I guess. But I'm 30 years old.
Yeah,
who
exactly.
the fuck is gonna hire a doctor who's 50 by the time he gets out of school, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That shit ain't gonna happen. So what can I do, right? Like I had like, you know, right now I'm working security, right? For a brief while, I had a beautiful job. I was working for the Chinese government, mining Bitcoin. I had a bunch of weirdo temp workers I got to order around like Pikmin. It was great. And then it's like, okay, then that job ended, and I went back to security. And it's like I've been back at security for almost a year now, right? And it's like, okay, Ted, you gotta kind of get your shit together, because the reason I started going for the IT networking shit is I did the math when I was working security before, and I realized I'm like, oh, I will literally never be able to afford a house if literally there is no option that can happen unless I do something. And so I was like, okay, well, what are my options? And I was thinking of all these different things. I had no idea, no direction. Believe it or not, as a child who used 4chan for most of his life and the parent of, you know, the child of a single mother, I didn't have a lot of male role models growing up. Like about the closest thing, I'd be like, oh, you know, Andrew Hussey's like a pretty crazy, yeah, it's this crazy story. I kind of like that. I like, you know, maybe I can come up with some kind of like interesting idea and really get like a lot of crazy shit come out of it. But like, that's the extent, right? So I had worked, I thought, I was like, okay, I'm sitting here in security. I'm like, I got a lot of time to think. There ain't fucking anything happening here. So I'm like, what are the things that I enjoy? And what I ended up settling on is I thought of all my jobs. And I'm like, okay, I worked at the pharmacy for a while. And while that was the same job where my boss called me a, quote, fucking retard, it was also my favorite job that I've worked. And I was like, why? What the fuck? Why? And then I realized it's because I had responsibility. And I got to problem solve. I would have old lady McJerkin call me up and say, I need my tummy pills. Give me tummy pills. Give me tummy pills now. And then hang up. And I have to figure out what the fuck she was talking about from that. But I can't. I'm smart enough to work that out. I know that's Mrs. McTummy Tum because she's a fucking bitch. And every time I delivered medicine to her, she smelled like cat pee. She says it's her tummy pills. Okay, I can look at her list of medications. The only one that's due for a refill is this one. She got this one exactly 30 days ago. This is what she needs. It cannot be anything else. If there was one that it could be, I would be like, oh, okay. Time to call her up and be like, hello, you know, I want to get this. You know, is this the correct medicine? You know? the responsibility and problem solving was something I enjoyed. And then a friend of mine, Matt, he didn't know shit about IT network. He didn't know a goddamn thing. But his brother, I think it was, or his stepbrother or something like that, got into IT and was like, boom, instantly $80,000 a year. And he was like, oh, well, fuck working insurance. And in 7 months, he had it. And he had that job and he was making $80K a year. And I'm like, well, shit, I can do that. I got all this time at the fucking at security. What am I doing? I'm just beating off playing RuneScape? That doesn't seem to really be giving me anything. Oh, wow, I got 99 farming. That's crazy. Now I can farm more. I farmed 30,000 dwarf weeds, Alex. Do you think I remember any of that?
Bro, dwarf weeds? That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, I had to get wines of Zamorak. 30,000 of them. So that I could get the level 4 Varrock armor to do... I don't know. I guess I can mine better. I can mine better, I guess. On RuneScape, if you try to look up your hours played, it asks you if you're sure.
Ty, remember to take a piss before you start doing this 3-hour-long raid, okay?
I have 111 days on RuneScape. Alex, how many hours is that? Can you add that up real quick?
111 days into hours. 2,664.
That is not counting the hours I have played on Steam, too, which is another 400.
Oh my, you're 3,000 hours. That's more than I've played, I think, anything other than potentially Arknights, because I don't know how long I've played that, because the Chinese phone only tracks since I bought it in, like, February.
That is, like, 6 months, dude. Granted, yes, a lot of that is I click a tree and I go back to watching a YouTube video. But even still, that's wasting time watching a fucking YouTube video, right?
Exactly. Even when I'm just farming something in Arknights, I could have just been drawing instead. I could have been focusing all of my attention to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really the core of it, is seeing them not just go through this happy ending, but more importantly, seeing the failures of what happens to an artist who loses their passion, as well as more of a realistic goal. And then, like I want to make video games, right? I love video games to death. I'm very passionate about them. I mean, you saw, even with Arknights still in my life, you saw earlier this year when we watched our like 2023 year roundup reviews from Steam and Nintendo. You saw how many games I was playing. That was still adding with my 3DS and shit, right? Like I love video games. So like I got Godot and I want to start trying to make some shit. Now realistically, am I gonna make the $1 billion thing? Am I gonna make the next fucking Undertale? No, I'm gonna be like the guy who made like Webbed over here, this cute little spider platformer, right? I'm gonna just make one of those guys who sells like 50 copies on Steam. But like that's fine, right? Because Ending 3 taught me, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to not get the super-de-duper perfect thing, because as long as you can get by, it's really all that actually matters, right?
Remember this too, Alex. If you sell 50 copies of your game, think of the current video game ecosphere. You beat Fortnite 50 times. That's a funny thing, like, to say, but actually think about it. This is something Brian told me. He's like, legitimately, your game outsold Fortnite to 50 different people.
Yeah, I understand. That's an interesting way to say it, though I fear that could gas me up like E2 Olivia. But
Alex, I just want to gas you up so you can crash and burn. That's why I've been playing the long con here. They call me Ben. It's a 3-letter name.
But that's why the game changed me. It was going through the entire story and really absorbing the characters and really seeing like every potential thing. Because once I saw like, when Nico started talking about how little like his parents didn't really love him very much because they're never around, or how he just kind of kills time with like, watching these really long videos, you start listen. You start seeing a little. You might be like me and go, uh-oh. When you can realistically compare yourself to the guy who's literally meant to be an NPC, that's like his bit, that's like his insecurities, you start to really feel bad, right? So the game inspired me to really try to like take art more seriously and really try to like actually like really enjoy video games like more often and really get more inspiration. Was the bad endings kind of putting some fear into me. And another thing that made me think about is like, you're gonna like to hear this. I know for a fact I said the line, Tad, I've read enough. What was I really complaining about right there? Really? Did I play Disco Elysium for a few hours and get bored of reading because I thought it was boring? And I was, the high int Giga Chad saying it's boring to the low int Chud Tad saying it's really deep. Was I really that, or was I just reading so much goddamn shit in Arknights? Because again, full novels every goddamn month, Tad. Was I reading that so much that I was burnt out from just reading, right? When I saw something new that really inspired me, and like this, could disco be like that? Was I just burnt out of something else and lashing out? I want to replay disco. I want to give it a full chance. Maybe not stream it. Maybe you're right about that. I tried to play it on my own, like I played this.
Instead of putting on a show, play it personally.
Yes. Like when Olivia said that moment where she was talking about like her art that really spoke to me, right? What if that little moment, what if that one little line that Harry could possibly say might just be around the corner? We're gonna probably have a disco follow-up episode where I have to sing the Aleks was wrong song potentially. Though I will,
His name
I will
is Aleks, and he was wrong. And now Aleks is gonna be singing the Aleks is wrong song, and he's going to be doing the kicks.
I feel weirdly remorseful and sad, but also free at the same time. Which, yes, the game had that much of a fucking grip on me, chat. But that, Tad, is why I liked Wani. I want to hug that Gator. That is why it changed my life. Because it really put a lot of things in my own life into perspective in a very depressing way. And it inspired me to take my art a lot more seriously. And so I've been drawing a lot more. Mostly been drawing Olivia because she's inspired me so much. I want to draw her. And it's been great.
I am eagerly anticipating a new Aleks, an Aleks that emerges from his chrysalis, much like an egg, who is a brand new person. I am genuinely like, okay, I'm glad to see that Aleks has found something that he has meaning put into. Like a serious amount of self-reflection.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it kind of sounds like I'm trying to put you down, but I promise it's not. I am genuinely glad the CHUD Aleks arc is closing.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm just gonna get back to just drawing more of these beloved gators. Spoilers, she is not actually an alligator. She is a Baryonyx, or however you fucking say it.
Well, you know how I say it, Alex? I say you can find the podcast on YouTube. Twitter is in the description, Patreon in the description. T-shirt store is in the description. One dude, I've already apologized to you over email. He ordered a shirt when I did that promo months ago, and it didn't have the color, and I just totally forgot about his ass. So he's probably just today, September 9th, 2024, just got his T-shirt and a bunch of free pins. I'm sorry. But anyway, this was an enlightening episode. It's nice to hear Aleks go deeper, you know?
Especially after the last episode. It's specifically the artist struggle that really pulled me in, and I don't know if that will necessarily work with, like, you probably wouldn't give a shit, right? But you like someone like Harry because, I don't mean this to be in a bad way, but he's a little more depressing.
You give me 10 years and a couple bad decisions, and I am Harry Dubois, okay? If I do not change my ways, I am Harry Dubois, putting fucking Adderall up his asshole. All right. I think that's about it then, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so thanks for listening, everyone. This was a very interesting episode. I'm glad it happened. We'll see if there's enough coming with a follow-up to Disco, guest starring Snoot Game. Maybe that'll happen. We'll have to see. But thanks for listening. I'm going to go ahead and close out the episode, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I'm not very good. We're not very good with outros. I read the like the ending credits like fucking 15 minutes ago, and I just tried to end it. We're still going, so I'm just gonna hit stop. Goodbye.